Hello all. So in this video, we are going to learn about Redux Saga. So what is Redux Saga? Redux Saga is an alternative to Redux Thunk. It is a middleware which is used to do API call. With Redux, you cannot directly do API call. You need a middleware to do API call. So there are two most like popular things. One is Redux Saga, one is Redux Thunk. Actually, Redux Thunk is more popular, but I have seen in corporate using Redux Thunk also. So we will learn this. So what we are going to create today. So let me share my screen. So this is what we are going to create. It's a simple app. This all things are coming from a React app using Redux and Redux Saga. This increment you can do it from a normal app also, but this is done through Redux when Redux and Redux Saga. So we're going to learn those things, how to do that thing. So this Redux Saga is a very important app because there are some companies which prefer Redux Saga over Redux Thunk, and in this case, it will be very much useful. So without wasting any time, let me close this project. And what I have done, I have created another project here npm with this famous command npx create get app redux saga. Then I have cd to it as usual. Then I have done a npm I redux and react redux. So those things I have done. Okay, so because both of these things are required, redux is required to have the functionality of Redux, and React project requires an additional library known as React Redux. So this is something which you do in every Redux project, whether you're using Thunk or whether you're not even using Thunk, because Thunk and this are used only if you need to do API calls. Okay, so that is the main thing. Okay, so let me do open it with code and next thing. Okay, later on I'll do is npm start npm start. Make it a bit smaller like this, and yeah, this much. Okay, so we have a general React projects, nothing much different. So just we install those things. So let us do create it as a Redux project first. Okay, so for Redux project, we install all the dependencies. So first thing which we are going to do, I'm going to go to the src folder as usual, and I'm going to create a components folder, and then I'm going to create a dot js count dot js. I'm going to create. So that is there. Now let us make it a functional component rfc because it doesn't matter in Redux whether it's a functional component or not. Class based component, Redux is on top of it. It's a state management. Okay, and we're using a different thing. This is not a actually a Redux tutorial. I have a lot of Redux tutorial on the channel. You can check them out. Okay, if you want. Okay, so everything is there in the channel, React, Redux, everything. So here, what I'm going to do in this, I'm going to have a const count, comma, set count, hook. A hook I'm going to have and equal to use state, and this will be 0, state 0. Okay, so that is there. Again, what is the state hooks? You can find it from our channel. We have a lot of recently also released the React hooks. Okay, so you can check that out. Then here I will have a div with it's a small code, so let me write it. Last name equal to container, and uh, go here and here h is count, just showing the count. Then div dot btn container, then button increment, increment is there, then on click equal to this, and set count. The set count I'm increasing it count plus 1. So this is just a simple count container, which you all have seen a lot. If you're not seen, so you have not done enough React. Okay, so that is there. And this will be PECRE. I'm going to decrement and I will save it. Now we'll have a just a small bit of CSS import dot CSS. This count.css I have to create. Go here and count.css, and here just a small bit of mm, thing. So let me write it out because this is not much. Although this is not, as you know, this is not a CSS tutorial. As we all say, background color is light blue and padding is 10 pixel. And then dot, let me copy this. It's much better to copy this thing. Dot button container is display is X and justify content is send just a bit of flex. Okay, so that is done. Now I will go to the, we have not yet shown these things, so we'll go to the app.js, and app.js I will add this component, add this. All these things I'll remove, and then here we H1. I'm doing this H1, so let this be H2 or H3. It's much better. One is Redux Saga. Then I will import this count, count, save it, and see it showing like this. Okay, so it is all working fine. And let me see whether it is increasing. Yeah, it is increasing fine. It's increasing fine. So this is, it is done. So now this was normal React. Now we'll come to the Redux part. Okay, so we'll create our types, actions, and Redux. And you should know a bit of Redux thunk before this Redux Saga. You should know Redux before this because there is a lot of similarity all in the setup. Only a bit of difference will be there. So for that, what we are going to do, and in Redux there are different ways to use Redux. One of the way is known as the duck method. Okay, duck method. So in this, what I'm going to do in this SRC, if you go through our Redux tutorial, you'll find that a lot of different methods were used. Okay, so in this SRC, we will go in this SRC, and in this SRC, I will create a Redux folder, and inside the Redux, I will create a Dux folder, and then inside the Dux folder, I will create another file known as count.js. See, this is a different than the other count. This is a small count.js. Okay, so here I will again write some logic in which we will have a sort of action creator kind of a logic and reducer kind of a logic we're going to have. Okay, so all the things in this kind of a method, all the things I'll put in this same file. So in some Redux format, you have all the things like a constant in a different file, action creator in a different file, and the reducer in a different file, but we can put them in one file also, and this is known as a Dux method. Okay, so the different methods are const increment count equal to same thing. Increment count equal to count, decrement count equal to decrement count. Then we'll have our action creators, and that is export const increment. So now we are mainly using the Redux thing. So this is like a local thing only. The state is local, but we don't want to do that. Yes. So the type will be increment count. Similar to this, we'll have decrement also. These are the action creators. Decrement, and this will have this a decrement count. Then we will have an initial state. And this kind of logic generally goes into the reducer from the initial state onwards. Const initial state equal to count is 0. Okay. Now the reducer part we are going to do. So export default. We're directly doing this export default state equal to initial state, comma, action, and this which action dot type is increment count. And so again, this all these things you might have know these things like how to write an increment counter in Redux. So this is those kind of code. Okay. So I have to do dot 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 state, comma, count is this global Redux state dot count plus one. Uh, this is decrement count. In this case, it will be -1, and one will be default is the done state is there. Now I will okay make it right. Okay, save it. Now this is done. Now we'll have a store as we have in Redux. Okay, so one sec. Okay. So we'll have the store. Store will be here. New file. As I told before, this Redux Saga, you need to know Redux. Okay. So the store will be just like what we have in Redux, like this is store, and we'll have const reducer equal to no, it's combine reducers, which is from Redux, and this name I can take anything counter and count reducer. Okay, so this I can, as I've told, this I can take anything. Then I will have a const store equal to create store. Okay, it is showing a line because nowadays Redux also tell how to do it through Redux toolkit. Although it is not deprecated, but you can learn about Redux toolkit also. It is promoting that nowadays. Okay, so nothing goes away so easily. So reducer and so combined reducer and all. So this count reducer will be the one we have this. We have to import this thing. Okay, so anyways it will not show, so I have to import it. Import count reducer from what ducks count. So I'm doing this like okay. So this from here I'm importing it. So this count reducer is from there, and I have to export it also. Export default store. Export default store. Okay, so that is it. Now we'll do the usual thing of provider. So we'll come here and in the index.js I'll do. It is better to do it. There is something. So index.js also you can do the provider, or in the app.js also you can do. So let us do it in the index.js this time. So first I will so if I'm in index.js, I should remove this all these things which are not required. And the other thing which is not required is this React strict mode. Okay, it gives twice the console log, so I always remove it. So instead of this, instead of removing it, what I will do here, I'll do the provider. And this provider thing is coming from React Redux, this provider. I don't know why it doesn't takes this provider will come from here. And the other thing which I have to do is to include the store here. store store to store. It's not showing. It is showing. So store also. I've imported both of them. Save it. Okay. So now we'll go back to the our count. So I don't want this local count. I want it to be having this Redux count. Why? Because I want this count to be a global thing. That is what Redux is. Right now it is there only in this only, but I want it to be global. I want this to be global. And one more of the thing which we are going to do, I'm going to remove this thing, show it from somewhere else so that you know it's a global thing. Okay, so increment instead of set count, what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the redux method of, I'm going to remove this thing because we're not going to use this thing, and we're not going to use this thing use state. We are going to use the dispatch method. Again, you should know a bit of Redux before doing this thing, because this is a specialized version of Redux which is known as Redux Saga, which is used to do API calls, and this is an alternative to Redux Thunk. I'm telling it again and again. Const dispatch equal to use dispatch. Use dispatch is again from React Redux. Okay, like this. Now instead of this set count, I can do this dispatch, and there is an increment function. If you come here, where is it? Okay, this increment function I want to call. So this increment function dispatch and increment function call increment function, and similar to the other function is known as decrement. So I will call this decrement function like this, and decrement. Okay, save it. So increment and decrements are there. So okay, so increment and decrements are there. Now we will, what we are going to do in the app.js. Now this count I'm going to show in app.js. App.js is a different component, and this is something which we cannot do with React. This is Redux is required. Okay, because I'm now this our count is a global variable, like it's a global state. This count is a global state which I'm incrementing and decrementing from a different component, count.js, and then I'm showing within a different component which is known as app.js. Let me show it here. So H3, let me show it. Redux. And with the new way of Redux, we can show it with the use selector hook. So this new way is very cool. Like earlier we used to do that higher order component thing, so that was not cool. See U and P equal to selector. Use selector is again from React Redux state, and state dot counter. Why I'm taking this counter? Because if I come here, this is what we are going to do. State dot counter dot count will be there. But counter dot count like this. And now I will save it. See, the Redux count is now 0. Although our incrementing logic will not work right now. Okay, let me see whether the increment logic will work. Yeah. Okay, it is working. Yeah, it is working because this is a normal Redux. Okay, this is a normal Redux which we have learned before going to Redux Saga. Okay, this is the normal Redux we have learned because we need to have this thing. Now we will learn about the Redux Saga. Okay, so this is like the normal Redux because we need this Redux setup. So that's why I taught the normal Redux first. Now, what is Redux Saga? Okay, so I will show one diagram, like if you have not seen, like this. So this is a React app action. I showed this always. Action creator, reduce the Redux store. And this is what we created right now. We have not yet introduced Redux Saga. Okay, so Redux Saga is this. Redux Saga is the middleware which comes when the action creator sends directly to the reducer. Please go through a Redux tutorial again. So in that it is much more in a much more detail it is there in the Redux tutorial, all these things. And we have a different setup also in which the action creator and the reducer are a bit different. Here I have put everything in the one thing which is on a duck method, but sometimes it is much more easier to understand if everything is in a different components. Okay, so action creator sends to the reducer, but when the action creator, here this action creator, these are known as action creator, and this is sent to the reducer. There is a whenever, see now my React app how it will work. So I go to the count, I click on this increment, click on this increment. So this increment will go here, and this increment will be connected to here, like that's the Redux magic. It will be connected here, and the count will be reduced, and the count will increase in this, and the increase in this, and when the count will be increased, so this is in the store, and whoever is subscribed to the store, which is app.js is subscribed to the store, will get the latest count. This is how the whole cycle works. Now Redux Saga comes here between the action creator and the reducer. This is action creator and the reducer, it comes, and it is mainly used to do the API call thing. Okay, so API call, because what happens, this from action creator to reducer, it passes very fast, it passes very fast. So if you want to do some asynchronous action like API call, which requires 1 or 2 seconds, you need to have either Redux Thunk or Redux Saga. So we are going to use Redux Saga now. Thunk and all we have used a lot of time ahead. Okay, so here I will go and want to install something new. It's better to always close it. Okay, and I Redux Redux Saga. I'm installing Redux Saga. And this time we are going to see a different example. Although our Redux setup is done, but as I've told, it is mainly used to do the API call. So let us do something like that. Okay. So npm do it's showing nothing different. So now we'll come here in the Dux folder. We'll create a new thing known as user dot, and this is also an example how we can use multiple states. Okay, user.js I'll do, and then here I'll come, I'll do a export const get underscore user equal to get underscore user, and const set underscore user equal to set underscore user, like this. Then export const get user equal to yes. Yeah, similar to that what we have done earlier. Okay. So type is get user. We'll have export const set user. It will be set user, but it will have also have a payload. On the payload will be user, because we are going to do a API call. The payload will be user, and so this is again something a Redux thing which you might have done a lot of time. So this is done, and I will have a initial state. So let me, why not we copy from here. I know it's really sometime not good to copy things because it leads to a lot of errors. Okay, so this I will do as user, and this will be an object. Okay, this will be an object default, and all these things are okay. Instead of increment count, I will have a set user. Actually I will only have a set user. This get user I'm exporting, and soon see why I'm exporting that. Okay, so set user is there, and this will be just a user is action dot payload, action dot payload. Okay, action dot payload I have done. So everything else is okay. So set user will be done here. Okay, so not the get user and all. So now where it is different from Redux Thunk. So till here we can do it in Redux Thunk also. Okay, so now how to do it like it with Redux Saga. So let us see this. So here, close this, close some of these things. This I don't require. Okay, so here I will create a folder sagas inside the Redux folder. So this inside this Redux folder, I'll create a SAGAS sagas folder, and in this sagas folder, I will write a root saga dot js, root saga dot js, and then since we have installed the Redux Saga, so I will have a take play test from Redux dash Saga effects. So effects. This thing will do and export function star watcher saga. So what we are using here, why I'm doing this star here? This is something which is known as generator function in JavaScript. Okay, so this is an advanced kind of a concept. Generator functions in JavaScript. So you can learn about the generator functions in JavaScript. So generator functions followed by keyword which returns a generator object and all these things are there. So we are going to use this yield and all these things later on. So this saga uses this generator function concept. We're going to come back to this function. Okay, so watch this thing, and here is where I find it a bit more complicated than Redux thing. That's why people prefer more Redux thing, but there are some companies in which Saga is used instead of Redux thumb. Okay, and this is a very basic project. So we'll go to this store.js now, and here we are going to use this Saga. And okay, so first thing is that let me do a slash user is user reducer. So like this reducer from you. So okay, like this I've done. Now the next thing is what I'm going to do here. Okay. So this before this create a store fonts, let's say here saga middle where any name you can take equal to create SAGA, but this is something from the saga. Create saga middleware from this, and you will call it like this. Okay. Then after that, as with all readers, so there is a lot of boilerplate code. Am I really middleware equal to saga middleware, which you just did in the above statement, like this. I have to call it with an array kind of thing. Okay. Then this store is there. In this create store is there, in which the reducer goes first, then an empty object will go, then apply middleware. Again, apply middleware is from Redux. Apply middleware, and then I will do this dot 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 middleware. Here we can add multiple middleware. So that's a dot 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 middleware I've done. Okay, so that is done. Now after this, what we have to do? Saga middleware dot run watcher saga. Okay, watcher saga. Watcher saga is what? Watcher saga is this thing which you have created. Okay, saga middleware run watcher saga. Okay, this we are done. So we use added the saga middleware and like in the as a part of middleware. So middleware in Redux Thunk we directly use it here, but there are some more steps than Redux Thunk. Okay, so with this saga middleware which created, we are running this watcher saga. We are running this, and now what we are going to do in the we are going to go to this sagas folder, and inside this sagas folder we will create a REUU. Because so this folder structure is very important because this is somewhat a industry standard, like different kind of standards in Redux. So you or else whatever wherever company you go, it will be according to that. Okay, so here I have come and then I will again create a file known as user.js. User.js I've created. Close this. Okay, user.js, and here I do a okay. I have to, we are going to do the API call through something, and that something is Axios. So let me install the Access from the data terminal. Access from Axios, and then export function request get user return Axios dot request. Just get user. Okay, method get URL is JSON placeholder. The users is the API endpoint from JSON placeholder, which gives me list of all the users. But I don't want a list of all these. I want only one. So like this, you can give. So anything you can give. I'll give this one. That's the reason we're taking it as an object because it returns an object. So we are taking the initial user as an object. Okay, so like this, I'll do. Okay. Now I'll close this thing. So what object I'm talking about? The initial it is object because this is an object. I'm talking about that. So you already find that the saga is way more complicated than your Redux thing, but we have to do this thing. Okay, so again we will go here, and inside this Redux folder, inside this sagas folder, inside this sagas folders, we will create a handlers folder. Handlers folder, because I do a lot of corporate training also, and in a lot of corporate they ask me to tell about saga, so it means they use saga. Okay, then again I will, in this handler I'll do a user.js, and same name I have taken. Okay, so here we'll do code function, again a generator function, handle get user action like this, and then try catch like this. Then catch I'll have try const response equal to yield. So what is yield? Yield, you can learn about the yield here. Okay, yield is here. So what is this yield and all? So you can learn it here. So what is this yield? It is stops. Sort of it stops those things. It is used to do API call and all. It is very easy to do yield. Okay. So here I'll do the call request get user, request get user. Okay. When I import it, it should be open. Okay. So request get user I am doing. Okay. Yield is that. Then const user data equal to response dot. Actually, this is another way to do API call also. See, I'm doing this request thing, and this is where the API call will be made. And as you know, API call takes 1 or 2 seconds. So yield is sort of it stops this thing one until the result is there. Not a stops. It like it works like your async await and all those things. Okay, like we use async await and all those. It works like that. So that is there as I told. It works like that. So after this data, I'll do a yield yield put. So this put methods and this get method, okay, this call method and this put method, I have to import it actually. Okay, so call method is from Redux Saga, Redux Effect, and this pull will be also be from there. And then this I'll do a user set user. We are exporting from that one main user, set user, and here I will put the user data, so which I'm got. I'll put that, and also this put also I have to import it here. So put set user request and all these things are there. So I'll save it now. Do I get some error? No. Okay, no, I didn't got any error. So now we go to this where is my root saga. So a root saga will go, and this is like how we are going to do. So here I'll do the yield. Again, yield is a very important keyword. Take latest. In this take latest, I'll do the get user, comma handle get user and handle get user. Handle get user is from handlers and user. Okay, so these two things are there. Okay, so yield is take latest, get user, and handle. Okay, so now I will even save this thing, and now finally I will go to the app.js file, and we'll add those things like how to get the user and all here. And for this, after this, okay, I'll put some code. But before that, we need to do the dispatch and all those things. So let us do the dispatch. So const dispatch equal to use dispatch on React Redux, of course. Then I will have a use effect to do the API call. Okay, use effect is dispatch get user like this. Dispatch the get user, comma this it is done. Okay, so dispatch get user. I'll show the whole flow. Okay, so once that is done, we'll get the result after some time. Const user equal to use selector state. So we know how to do it like this. State is state dot user dot user. So we have another user here. Okay. So store is, see, this user dot that user. So store is also there. So that is there, and that's why it is user dot user, and that is done. Now what I have to do, I have to show it, and I'll take through the complete flow user. If the user is there, I'll into the and operator, then only I'll show. Okay, so I'll show a div dot user dash container. Okay, and then h2 I'll show user dot name, and h2p user dot email. So from where I'm getting these things I'm getting from here. User dot name, user dot email. You can show all those things. Okay, so you can show all those things. You can show, and let me now save it. A bit of okay. Just use the container. Let me first see whether it is showing or not. It's showing perfectly. Just a bit of app.css. After that, I will, of course, I will take you all. Okay, so y2 can be dot because it is not like showing correctly, and some bit of things should be there. TST like Carol is good, and adding is and yes, is good. So like this should. Okay, so everything is working fine. So now let us again go through everything like what happened right now, how this saga is working. So first thing is that you will be seeing like in the app.js, I am using this dispatch to do the get user. So dispatch always dispatches some action data. So dispatch is there in the get user is been called. So get user is been called, and but if the get user is called, so here the important thing. Okay, if the get user isn't called, here there is no action related to get user. So how the get user isn't called, and this is where the magic of saga is there. Okay, so let me make it a bit bigger. Okay, so because the main thing is that your this thing is was just like the increment. So how the get user is running, so that is a mystery. How the get user is running, it just from the app.js I'm calling the get user. Okay, so count also I'll close. So get user, if you see here the Redux Saga, so I'm creating a middleware and all those things are there, and reducer and applying the middleware and all. But this is very important. Saga middleware will run watcher Saga. This is very important. So this is something which will keep on running in the background, keep on running, and this is how the watcher saga is there. And watcher saga is a yield which which says that take latest. It keeps on running. It is sort of a snapshot. It keeps on running, and it is telling me to take the latest from the get user. Okay, so this get user is from here. Okay, so get user is here, and the thing it is passing this when I take the latest from the get user and this handle get user. So it keeps on running, and the moment the API call has been done from here, it will come to the store, and since it is running, and it will now call this. Where is my root sub? Okay, you call this handle get user. So handle get user is again it's a yield function, and this is taking help of call and put is taking help of, and call is like the important thing. It is again calling something request get. It's a simple axios call to get the data. So when it is called like here, and it will get some response here, and that response or data I'm just using again, yeah, yield is like to do the API call with async await and some then and catch block. It's sorts of wait. Okay, so then this put is there, put set user, and these are both Redux Saga function. Put set user. So go to this set user. Now the normal Redux thing will work. Okay, set user is the payload has come. So payload will be put, and payload will be put, and after that you know what happens. Payload will be put, and then we have a here in the main we have a use selector which will get the data, and just we are showing the data. So this is how the saga works. So all of these things are done. So you can go through this code and all. Hope you like this small, not small, but tutorial on Redux Saga. Please go through React, Redux, and all those things, and even the Redux Thunk on a YouTube channel. Then only you're going to learn more about Redux Saga, and it's a bit complicated, but it is used in a lot of companies. So you have to learn these things. Especially you're seeing this video because it is on your company, because you want to do it on your project. Okay, thank you again.